Hi, my name is Abby Holcomb. Um, I am a junior at Clemson and I attended the Power and Privilege seminar. It was this past Monday night. And just to get started, my first reflection question on our meeting was: do you feel your group achieved true dialogue? Why or why not? And I truly believe that we did. I feel like that we were off to an extremely slow start to begin with. I feel like that. There were some louder voices than the others, and there were some stronger opinions in some sections. Um, and then there were also um, older versus younger students there. Um, our slow start, I think, arose from we had a couple worksheets that we went through to begin with, and they were really tedious with reading through the worksheets, and it pretty much just explained like what dialogue was and the importance of privilege, and recognizing when someone has a difference of opinion as you, and different things like that to kind of help get the ball rolling, I guess. But it was also kind of a slow moving process. um, Number two says share your observations of the dynamics of the group. Like I said, I'm a junior, so I personally recognized that there were older students and they seemed to be typically more outspoken than the younger students. I feel like the younger students were a little more bothered with the fact that they were even there, but um, towards the end, everyone seemed to take it very seriously, and um, you know give their opinions and give their thoughts on the situation and the different scenarios that we were given. And as a whole, I felt like we did achieve some dialogue that night. Um, and were there active voices? There definitely were. There were a couple of people that are heard a little bit more often than others. There's obviously always the ones that are very outspoken in the group, and then some that aren't as much. Um, and there were some very timid voices as well, like I just mentioned. If I wanted to classify myself, I would say that I was an outspoken individual. I was more outspoken about the subjects that meant more to me. Um, an example would be religion or education. Religion, for obvious reasons. Religion is just a very important thing in my life. And education, I tended to be more outspoken about that because I realize that there are students that I go to school with who, typically the younger ones as well, but who feel like a college education is the only way to make anything of yourself, and be successful. And I don't like that because I don't feel like education is the only way to measure success. Um, you can have success with any type of job that doesn't allow um, you know that doesn't require a college education. There's plenty of successful people who have graduated college and moved on to things that they're passionate about, and they're doing great. But it's almost like individuals my age and maybe a couple years younger have just had this impression drove into them that if you don't go to college, you're not going to get anywhere in life. Now, some of that does prove true, and some of that is, you know, definitely accurate with some jobs that you may try to get. But success is just simply not measured in the fact if you have a bachelor's or master's or PhD or something like that. And that was definitely something that I tried to argue because I felt like, we need to kind of step back and say, hey, I felt like we were putting ourselves on some type of a pedestal or making ourselves look better than others, but just for the simple fact that we're attending college. And just with the job market today, you never know if you're going to have a job even when you do graduate. Number three, why do you think dialogue is a component in this course and you see dialogue as a useful tool in your university experience? I definitely feel like this um, part of Library 100 was included component, um, because it's a lesson that we can take as a student and use on campus, but it's also something that we can definitely carry with us off campus as well. I felt like this whole experience taught me a little bit more about recognizing that there are differences of opinions, and probably most important for me, the take home, I guess, thought for the night was different points of views produce different opinions. And I know that's a very obvious statement, but until you get in a room with all these different people and you're all talking about the same scenarios and situations and giving your, opinions on it, you don't realize that just because, for an example, because I come from the South, I may have a different view on racism as someone who came from California. We actually did have that. I am from South Carolina, and there was a um, guy in my group who was from California, and he just explained how when he moved from the South and lived in California for a few years, the racism and skin color just seemed to die away, and he doesn't look at that anymore, and that's not something that he sees anymore because of the more accepting environment there is in California. There's a lot of variety there. Um, and then any additional thoughts or observations? I would definitely say that it was a positive experience for me. I enjoyed it. I actually was very intrigued by the fact that I do share a difference of opinion about certain things, but it was also very refreshing to realize that I'm like a lot of my classmates. It was really neat to get us all together and discuss things like that in a mature and organized fashion, and just kind of play off of one another and see where the difference of point of views and opinions really either collide or agree or mesh together. So that was a really neat thing. And just as a final um, comment on the whole night, I would say that one of my group leaders, not sure of his name, Dimesh, um, he apparently had watched a football game the night before and made comments about he lost his voice because of the ignorant refs or something like that. And um, it was very distracting and bothered me because he made just rude comments. He wasn't necessarily leading our group because of his voice, but he would just intercede with these rude comments. And just for an example, one of them was, "If you guys don't care about this, then neither do I." And he said that when he had posed a question that no one understood the question or what he was wanting from us. And so everyone was kind of quiet, and it was kind of like a silence fell in the room. And I guess he was frustrated because no one was speaking, but that was because we didn't understand what was going on. And I just felt like, the rude comments could have, you know, didn't have to be included. And if he didn't want to be there, then maybe he shouldn't have, just because he created a created a like tense environment every time he spoke up. But I will say his partner definitely evened things out for him, and he was an extremely nice person. I truly enjoyed taking this class from him and our discussion or whatever it was. But I really enjoyed when he spoke and provoked different dialogues. So I did enjoy my experience, and that wraps it up.